Hey, everybody, and welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. And I have on the line, on the call, and on the show, Heather Jewell, Director of Marketing Strategy at Fusion Now. How you doing, Heather?
I'm doing pretty darn great. That it is definitely cold here in Pennsylvania, but I know it's going to get a lot colder since you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, it's coming your way, baby. You got it. It's
Um,
coming your way. It's supposed to be down in the single digits tomorrow morning. I mean, on Friday morning here
yeah,
in
I mean
in Dallas. I mean, it's
Dallas. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm personally looking forward to it. I'm from Alaska, so I'm used to the cold, but I know a lot of our country isn't, unfortunately. So,
Okay, I'm gonna go right out on a limb.
uh-huh.
This is not the place where we're used to the cold. I'm just going to tell you that you got guys walking around with cowboy hats and they're all looking around like, what happened outside? We like sunshine. We like it hot. I don't know about you, but that's just the way we like it around it. Dusty. We like,
Yeah, dusty. I
huh?
prefer snow personally. Snow is a lot cleaner than dust, but
Ugh, ugh. It makes it so hard to drive,
that's
and
fair.
it makes it hard to move freight. Um,
Very true.
all right, so tell us what Fusion Now is, Heather, because that's what we want to know. What is Fusion Now?
Of course, yeah. We're a marketing and recruiting firm. We're actually based in Kansas City, but we're a global company now, which is super exciting. We've been in business for about 2 years, and ultimately, our job is helping carriers meet their growth goals, whether that be brand goals or just fleet size goals in general.
You know, in I we've met before. You've been on the show a couple of times. We've met you out at Women in Trucking, and we had a lot of fun. Let me ask you a let me ask you a quick question. Why do you consider transportation outdated?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned something earlier about the bathrooms, and I think that that's a great place to start. Overall, our industry just isn't as up to date as other industries, whether that be on the recruiting or marketing side, bathrooms, how we treat our employees, how we pay employees. And I think that our standards are just not quite where they need to be for 2022, let alone the fact that we're coming into 2023.
We have we sit here and we talk about it, and there's so much more we could do better, right? I mean, in all honesty, I'll tell you, it's been come from an industry that I've actually been around a long time. The snowball was really rolling slow for a long time. I think a lot has happened, Heather, in the industry over the last few years that has helped us propel this industry forward a little bit. I think, you know, the data that was being collected from ELDs, I
Yeah.
think, COVID and shining light on what truck drivers do and how important their role is to getting it done. And everybody in the country also heard much about supply chain issues. I think that became a buzzword to every single person out there. But to what you do and how you do it, how can trucking companies go back to humanizing the hiring process or creating instead of this, all this other stuff that the industry is? It's still very important that we still get to the people to get this job done.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I agree that the industry has made great strides since COVID. I think more out of necessity than anything, just to keep people in the industry and also attract new people to the industry. On humanizing the process, specifically hiring process, I think that we really need to just take a step back and walk a mile or drive a mile in our driver's shoes. Specifically, like bringing drivers on as an example, what does their timeline look like? I'm a former recruiter myself. I'm very guilty of trying to push drivers to come into orientation, possibly before they're even ready to come in. I think that carriers can ask drivers just flat out, is there anything that you need to do prior to coming to orientation? Maybe they need to run by their house because they have a honey-do list or something along those lines. And just meeting people in the middle with their needs and recognizing that every driver is different and the things that they're going to need in order to come into orientation and be hired and start successfully in a new position, that's going to differ for everybody. And just asking some questions and being open to conversation there, I think, can really help humanize everything. And one that I always like to touch on too is when we're setting drivers up for orientation, typically recruiters are sharing information verbally, and they might send over a quick email with some bullet points, but they're not